guess what? This week I am going to take you guys with me to an El Salvador football game, aka soccer. Do not ever say soccer when you're in El Salvador because you may get slapped. So you know, in El Salvador they have a league that has 12 different teams on it, and we are going to support Alianza, lo mejor. And they are actually based in San Salvador, but the team they are playing is called Limeño, and they're from like the border, right next to the border with Honduras. So here we go. Let's go, Alianza. Oh, sí, me Gonzalez. He's like the big football star of El Salvador. He's really big in the 80s, I think, 80s and 90s. Now he's, you know, retired, but he has a whole entire stadium named after him. Lucky him. So, tickets to get into the game is this ticket that I got. It was actually on sale. It was only $10, but it's a ticket familiar. So that's for kid, mom, and dad, because El Salvador is such a big, like, family-centric kind of country. You get a discount because if you come all by yourself, your ticket's $12. So it pays to bring the fam. Okay, so first things first, in El Salvador, the soccer season goes from August to December, and then again from February to May. So they have like 2 seasons, a fall and a spring season. Now, all these 12 teams, they play in both of those times. And right now, you're not going to see very many fans up in the bleachers because 2 reasons. Number one, they're not doing that great so far this season, and so some of the fans are kind of like, you guys kind of suck, so they're not coming out. And the other reason is tomorrow, the Selecta, or the El Salvador team, is called La Selecta. They are going to be playing Guatemala, so a lot of people aren't here because they are probably saving their time, their energy, you know, their money to come out tomorrow for the World Cup qualifiers between La Selecta and Guatemala. Especially since we just lost to Honduras, and that was not a good moment. At El Salvador sporting events, they don't have like a snack bar that you go to get your food. People walk around with baskets and buckets of concession food, and you just flag them down. Now this is actually mango that has been stripped down into, like, it looks like kind of like spaghetti, but it's just thin little strips of mango. And then they put ketchup, they put this brown sauce, which is kind of like a Worcestershire sauce, and then they put aguaste, which is ground up pumpkin seeds, and last of all they put some lemon and salt, because lemon and salt is standard on everything. This spaghetti mango was $3.50. It's so weird because it's so salado. That is the biggest bucket of curtido I have ever seen in my life. Bottle of water was $3, and it's because the street vendors have to pay in this to even sell in the stadium. And the other thing is, they have to use cups. They're not allowed to actually like have water bottles or give you water bottles or give you a can of soda, because that becomes a projectile and can be used to hurt somebody. It's really hard to hurt somebody with a red cup. So, it makes sense. Nut vendors that have lemon, salt, and chile as optional toppings. Now, these kind of events are more like a mix between college and pro, because there is a band, kind of like at a university game, but the band is made of volunteers. Hands down, the bandstand is where the party is at during the game. In fact, my first game that I came to, we sat right next to them, and I couldn't stop my ears from ringing for 2 days. There's a lot of history behind this. This is a power sandwich hot dog thing in El Salvador that you should be very suspicious of, because it's called Mata Niños. And yes, that means what you think it means. Child killers. So why a sandwich would be called the child killer sandwich? Probably because it's probably killed a kid or two. But, and I think it's actually probably because like the mayonnaise that they put in it was probably sitting out. People have it in their carts, and you know, when mayo sits out too long, it's not too good. But so Mata Niños has curtido, because it's El Salvador and curtido is in everything. And then it's got a lot of mayo, ketchup, mustard, and there's like a tiny thin little piece of meat, super processed, who knows what it is meat, right down there at the bottom. And that's what she looks like. Super basic, super cheap. But if you're hungry, it'll fill you up. Definitely not something you're gonna eat because you're like, oh, I'm craving a Mata Niños. No, not that high quality. It's just great junk food that'll fill you up. I'm not really a fan. I don't eat them very often. Only when I have to at games because they don't have anything else. Pero es 100% salvadoreño. So this is halftime. And if you notice, there is no halftime show. It's just the second strings, third strings, they go out there and they just warm up and keep practice and keep ready to go in, just in case they have to go in later. Because like the two guys we just saw come out, yeah, not everybody will last the game. And ironically, this is the one time that the band does not play. But seriously, the other hour and a half of the game, the band plays non-stop. It's amazing.
Gol de Municipal Limeño.
Why are they
Sobre 72
taking forever to announce the goal?
Alianza Fútbol Club 2.
Okay, bueno, in order to beat the rush, we are leaving when there's still 10 minutes left in the game. It was a great game though, had lots of good highlights, people taking falls, people getting hurt, missed goals, good goals, and everything in between. And that is what is great about football. So, I hope you enjoyed your little trip to El Salvador's football, and I will say buenas noches a todos as we go and try and find our car. And the other thing you might notice that I didn't put in here before is that if you come to a game, you'll notice there's a whole lot of militaries around the stadium and even in the streets around the stadium, and they're just there for extra protection, make sure Nobody breaks into your car. It's in order to make sure that, you know, everybody's being safe. Nobody's getting robbed or anything like that. There's nothing to worry about. I know that seems kind of intimidating in other countries. We see a bunch of guys standing around with big old machine guns. But in El Salvador, totally normal. We love them. Say hi, buenas noches. They're great. They're our getaways. So that's it. I'm Jenny shining my light so you can shine yours. If you're coming down to El Salvador, Living Like a Local can hook you up and help you see what your next step for El Salvador might be. Buenas noches.